What was the conclusion you drew after the bye week about the passing game?
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of areas there we need to improve. And the passing game, like we've said from the jump, takes all 11. Certainly, we want to stress defenses in probably some ways that we have not yet been able to or not able to connect on. Feature the guys that we can lean on and make our quarterback feel comfortable. So, the bye weeks are always great. We needed the reset to kind of look at things, make sure that we're doing the best things for our players, best things for our quarterbacks. And
instant panic hits Kevin Stefanski as angry Browns fans erupt with demands. They're calling for Tommy Rees to take full control and finally coach Shedeur Sanders the right way. Now that Rees has the play-calling duties, fans are demanding bold changes. Start Shedeur, give him real reps, and let him get the coaching he truly deserves. But the real question is, will Rees rise to the moment and give Shedeur the shot he's earned? Or will he play it safe and side with Stefanski just to protect his own job in Cleveland? Let's find out.
Tell you, dog, we have another day and another coach at the bout speaking about Shedeur Sanders and his offense. Now, we know the Browns' offense cannot get going in any shape, form, or fashion.
When Tommy Rees talked about improving the Browns' passing game after the bye, it all sounded great on paper. Words like reset, good plan moving forward, and making the quarterback feel comfortable. But here's the truth. If that plan doesn't include giving Shedeur Sanders the real chance he deserves, then what's the point? All this talk about doing what's best for the quarterbacks starts to sound empty. If Shedeur keeps getting left on the sidelines, it's a waste. Fans have seen flashes of what he can do, and everyone knows his skill set brings life and energy to this offense. Oh, when Rees says they needed a reset, fans can't help but wonder, was that reset about building something new, or just putting a fresh coat of paint on the same broken system that's been holding the team back? And what exactly do Rees and Stefanski mean by making the quarterback comfortable? Because if the goal is truly to strengthen the passing game, then comfort shouldn't come from playing it safe. It should come from trusting real talent. Shedeur's ability to extend plays, read defenses fast, and throw with precision under pressure is exactly what this offense has been missing. Yet somehow, he's still waiting for a real shot to prove it. Sure, Rees might have spent the bye week reviewing film and tweaking strategies, but did he spend enough time thinking about how to build around a quarterback like Shedeur, one who actually fits the modern aggressive style fans are begging to see? That's the question people keep asking, and it's a fair one. Now that Rees has taken over play-calling duties, expectations are sky-high, not just to pad stats, but to make real visible change. This isn't about swapping names, it's about changing the entire mindset of the offense. Browns fans want creativity, risk-taking, and above all, fairness. Rees truly believes in doing what's best for his players. Then Shedeur Sanders should be at the center of that plan, because every week that passes without giving him the reps he's earned feels like a wasted opportunity. And fans are tired of waiting. Everyone keeps saying the same thing. The offense just can't get going, no matter what they try. It's been a nightmare on the field. Slow starts, missed throws, and zero rhythm. And now, with Tommy Rees stepping in, the talk still sounds like the same old script. But fans aren't buying the talk anymore. They want results. To this point, the offense doesn't just need adjustments, it needs a spark. And that spark has to come from someone new, someone hungry, someone who can actually move the ball downfield. And that's Shedeur Sanders. All this talk about plans and resets means nothing if the same people keep running the same broken plays. When you watch what's happening, it's hard not to wonder how long this can go on. Everyone can see Shedeur standing there, ready and waiting, while the offense keeps collapsing. The fans are shouting for him, commentators are pointing it out, and yet somehow, the Browns still act like giving him a real shot is too risky.
Learning your own quarterback. Fortunate for me, I've been able to be here, sit with Dylan, be with the offense. I know kind of what helps him, what makes him click. I think, got a good feel for our personnel here. That's so important when it comes to calling games. And then, you get into a rhythm throughout the game of figuring out what from the plan works, what you need to adjust, what they're doing to try to take some things away. And then you're just looking to build counters and things that can complement what you've already tried to set up. But I think every time you call a game, you learn. Every time even for me in the role I've been in, like you learn as you're putting yourself in the shoes to call a game again, as you're listening and observing and helping.
Listening to Tommy Rees talk about how he's fortunate to sit with Dylan Gabriel and learn what makes him click, you can't help but feel the disappointment. Once again, it's the same old story, playing it safe, protecting the starter, and keeping a failing system alive no matter how bad it looks. Instead of using this moment to bring real energy to the offense, Tommy's words make it sound like he's locking himself into the same comfort zone Kevin Stefanski built. Fans hope that once Rees got the play-calling duties, we'd finally see something new, a bold move, a shake-up, some spark. But after hearing him talk about getting a rhythm with Dylan, it feels like those hopes are fading fast. It's as if Shedeur Sanders' name has been erased from every conversation inside that building. The Browns' offense is still stuck, still slow, still predictable, and yet Tommy is talking about learning and adjusting. Learning what, exactly? Learning how to keep a broken system running just a little longer? Because from the outside, it looks like the only thing this team refuses to learn is how to let Shedeur actually play. It's painful watching a quarterback with real talent and fire sit on the sidelines while others get endless chances to figure things out. Stefanski's shadow still looms large. His influence is all over these cautious decisions. And now Rees looks more focused on fitting in than standing out. This is the new direction for the Browns offense. Then let's be honest, it's not new at all. It's the same rerun fans have been forced to watch year after year, and they're getting tired of it. So you have to ask, what's really happening behind the scenes? Does Tommy think speaking up for Shedeur Sanders could cost him his job? Is he afraid that showing support for the kid would make Stefanski look bad? Who's really pulling the strings here? Stefanski protecting his authority, or the front office refusing to shake up the comfort zone? Why is it that every coach who walks through the doors in Cleveland suddenly forgets about Shedeur once they get a taste of that power structure? And more importantly, when did doing what's right for the team become more dangerous than doing what's safe for yourself?
New England game, you mentioned that you got to make Gabriel comfortable.
Yep.
And then he went out and did what he did. He only threw 8 balls to receivers.
Yeah.
How do you make them comfortable?
Yeah, we got to put the receivers in the right spots. We got to ask them to do the right things. We got to make sure that we're giving them the looks during the week. Certainly they did some things there to take some looks away, but getting him to progress and feel confident in those things. And again, it's all that work is done throughout the week. And then when a team's doing something that's going to take it away, you got to have counters and answers for that.
Hearing Tommy Rees talk about the Patriots game just confirms what everyone already saw. This Browns offense has no real identity, and it starts with the quarterback. Rees keeps saying he needs to make Dillon Gabriel comfortable, but how much more comfortable can you make a guy who only threw 8 passes to wide receivers the entire game? That's not comfort, that's hiding. When your offense is scared to throw the ball, that's not a coaching plan, that's survival mode. The Browns walked into that game looking like a team with no direction, no rhythm, no trust, no confidence, and the result made that crystal clear. You can't expect receivers to produce when they're barely part of the game plan, and you can't expect to win when your quarterback plays like he's afraid to take a real shot. The Patriots didn't even have to do anything special. They simply exposed how weak, cautious, and confused this offense really is. What makes it worse is hearing Rees keep talking about putting receivers in the right spots and giving them the right looks. None of that matters if your quarterback can't take advantage of those plays in the first place. The truth is, this wasn't just a bad game. It was a complete breakdown between the quarterback and the system. Dillon Gabriel looked lost. The play calling was hesitant. And once again, Shedeur Sanders sat on the sidelines watching a disaster unfold that he could have helped fix. If Rees and Kevin Stefanski think that's how you build confidence, then they're building it in all the wrong places. This offense didn't fail because of the defense or bad luck. It failed because of weak leadership, scared play calling, and a stubborn refusal to put the right quarterback under center. The Patriots didn't beat the Browns. The Browns beat themselves.
Came to Cleveland to work for Kevin. That's really the reason I took this job 2 years ago. Think the world of him, still think the world of him. Really, fortunate for the support he's given me over the last week, the support he's had for me over the last couple of years. I wanted to come to Cleveland to work for Kevin. I think the timing of it, you have a bye week, you have some time to step away and look at things through a different perspective and want to create a spark for the offense. And, again, how I feel is whatever they want me to do, whatever's asking me to help us win games, that's what I want to do at the highest level. So, again, working really collaboratively with Kev and really appreciate, that part of it. So it's his decision and,
Tommy Rees saying he came to Cleveland to work for Kevin just confirms what most fans already suspected. This entire coaching setup is built on loyalty, not results. Rees didn't come here to win games or develop real talent. He came here to please Kevin Stefanski. That one line explains everything about why the Browns offense keeps sinking week after week. When your main goal is making your boss happy instead of making your team better, you've already lost. Stefanski's system has been stuck in neutral for far too long. And instead of bringing in someone bold enough to challenge it, they brought in another voice who's just here to nod, agree, and follow orders. Tommy sounds less like an offensive leader and more like a spokesman for Stefanski, and that's exactly the issue. No one in this coaching staff is willing to stand up and say, this isn't working. They're too busy protecting each other while the team collapses in front of them. What makes it even more frustrating is how casually Rees talks about creating a spark and doing whatever's asked of him. Fans don't want another empty spark, they want real change. But how can there be any spark when Rees openly admits he's just following orders? The Browns aren't losing because of bad luck, they're losing because of this exact mindset. Stefanski has built a culture where no one dares to question him, and Tommy Rees is living proof of that.
What's asked of you?
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have a really good staff that you can collaborate with, lean on. Obviously, Kevin this week's been great. The rest of the staff's been great. Bloom and CO and some of the guys that you lean on throughout the week. Your job changes a little bit, right? You're having final stamp power on the game plan and where you see things falling and what's going to make it to Sunday. So that certainly changes, but the collaborative nature of it does not. Ultimately, you're making the final decision, which, like I said, changes things a bit, but process goes on as normal.
Tommy Rees talking about how fortunate he is to have a great staff and how everyone's been amazing, especially Kevin Stefanski. Just sounds like another safe, rehearsed answer to keep the peace. He mentions collaboration, leaning on people, and having final say. But what does any of that even mean when the offense still looks flat and predictable every single Sunday? What exactly are they collaborating on? Another game plan that keeps Shedeur Sanders glued to the bench? Another week of protecting the same quarterback who can't move the ball downfield? If Rees truly has final authority, then why does it still feel like Stefanski's fingerprints are all over every single call? Why is Tommy talking like an assistant when he's supposed to be the play caller? And more importantly, when will someone from the so-called great staff actually take responsibility for fixing the mess on the field instead of spending every interview praising each other? As the pressure builds in Cleveland, all eyes are now on Tommy Rees. Will he finally take a stand and let Shedeur Sanders lead this offense? Or will he stay in Stefanski's shadow and play it safe like everyone before him? Interview. Fire, and that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. Collision. Turn on the notification bell so you're always first to know when new content drops. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Until next time, stay tuned, stay real, and keep supporting the channel. Raising hands.